Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Okay, I'm here with XlorD again. Tournament's over now. Let's just start at the very end then. So you just beat Stephano in the third place decider game, a series that went the full 5 maps. What are your first thoughts, first impressions of the series?
Actually, before the series against Stephano, I lost against Simple 0-3, and I actually just wanted the games to be over fast, so I can relax. And yeah, I didn't want to play anymore, so yeah, but it went good for me.
Beating Stephano, you not only beat him in this series, but you also beat him in the group stage as well. People often say like, oh, Stephano's weak in ZVZ or whatever. Like, what did you actually think of his strength at this tournament playing against him? And like, what do you think was the deciding factor? I mean, you won both series.
Well, I think his ZVZ is not that bad. As we saw, he almost won against Snoot, and Snoot is, I think, at the moment the best European zerg and maybe the best European player. So yeah, his ZVZ isn't weak, but I think his playstyle is matches to mine, so I can play really good against it. Well, not really good, but better than against Simple, for example, because yeah, Simple's tactics and his playstyle doesn't fit to me. So yeah.
When you played against Stephano, was there anything you did in the first series you played in the group stage that meant like you just played similar to that, or you had like you knew you could just beat him straight up, or did you have something special planned for this third place decider at all?
No, it started just after the games against Simple, like 5 minutes or so, and I couldn't prepare anything, so I just played freestyle, and yeah, it came out that and it was pretty good actually. I think only 1 or 2 games I wanted to end it earlier with the 10 gas and speedling thing. I won easy, and also with but the banding bust failed with the 2 gas. So yeah, and the rest 3 games were macro, and I think those were pretty good by me or bad by him, I don't know. But the 2 games which decided this best of 5, I think, is Metropolis, because I was so much behind in my opinion, and also yeah, now the last game on Daybreak, I was really behind and still could win the game, so yeah, I'm happy.
Symbol himself is sometimes said not to have such amazing ZVZ himself. In his first series in the playoffs, he like went 3-2 with TLO. Then he beat you 3-0. Now you beat Stephano. Is ZVZ really that much of like a coin flip, or is it just like if players have really opposing styles, then it's just like a walkover? What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's kind of random, because I think Korean players got another ZVZ, and I never played against Korean zergs. So I knew he's gonna play cheesy and greedy, what he did, and yeah, it paid off. And I think the Europeans mostly play really safe. So 14 pool and 14 pool, it's the safest. And the Koreans also are playing with 15 hedge, so like Simple did, and yeah, I think that's the main point.
So if we work our way backwards, when you saw the draw for the brackets, I mean, you must have thought this was like a real chance to potentially even make the final, because like on paper the strongest players would probably have been Snoot because he was doing so well. Stephano and Marine King, they're such huge names, and you had them on the other side of the bracket. Did you really feel like this, like it's a good draw for you?
When I heard that I'm gonna play against Braddock, I was really happy. And yeah, also the bottom grid wasn't that hard as the top one.
Were you pulling for TLO to beat Symbol?
I would wish TLO would have won against Symbol. Yes, this is also the point again, what I mentioned in the last question, because TLO was in Korea and he knows how the Koreans play, so yeah, it was really close in their games. But yeah, I really would like to play TLO more, because I played him in ladder games. Yeah, and I knew how he plays, or how he would play. So yeah, but yeah, the bottom grid was pretty good. But I think it's also fair because I had a really tough group with MMA and Stephano. So yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay, so going backwards again, second group. Like actually you said it was a tough group. I thought when I saw the 4 second group stages, like A, the one with all the zergs in, and C looked like way harder than B and D. Do you agree with this?
Actually, many people say that D is the hardest with MC, CAS, TLO, and MC. Yeah. But yeah, in my opinion also, I don't think that D was the hardest. I think my group with MMA, Stephano and AB Knight was way the strongest, I think.
So in that group, you beat MMA. I mean, it sounds like I'm repeating the same thing, but people keep saying his worst matchup is versus Zerg as well. So that's like something people will probably use as to like take away from your win. But even so, he's like a huge name Korean, and in the past he used to be really good versus Zerg. So what did you think of this result? Like, just to add something in, when I spoke to MMA before, he told me like whenever he plays someone he doesn't know, like a foreigner, like he didn't know Moman, he probably didn't know you. He says he just plays like standard, like he doesn't do anything special or anything. Like, did you get this sense?
Yeah, actually this is the smartest he can do against people he don't know. But yeah, in the first game I think he was underestimating me and made the 2 racks like really in front of my base at the Xanaga tower, so I could defend it. But yeah, what was the question of that?
So, well, I mean, what did you think of like beating such a big name Korean guy?
Oh, yeah, also beating MMA is really great, I think. Also, I spoke before the games against him with some German player, also Zerg. His name is Hanfi. He won the last EPS. Okay. And yeah, actually I wanted to make a 14 pool to be really safe against MMA, against 2 racks, because Marine King did this too.
Okay.
And I felt like the Koreans are gonna cheese me because they think I'm bad or something and they don't know me. And yeah, the German Zerg players we trained, he made it 11-11 racks. And yeah, we found out that 15 hatch is still better than pool first against 2 racks, so yeah, it went pretty good. And we also discussed about the maps I should veto against him.
Okay. And what was the thinking behind the ones you picked?
Yeah, I really didn't know what I should remove from the map pool, and yeah, he told me some things and it made sense. So yeah, I was really happy that Hanfi spoke with me yesterday, and also he spoke also today with me. But yeah, he gives a lot of great tips for me for this tournament.
Whenever someone who's like an unknown, like internationally has like one good result, then people are always kind of like waiting for them not to do well afterwards, and they'll say things like, oh, you had like the element of surprise, like no one knew who it was, but next time people will be prepared. Like, how much do you think this performance here was like a really accurate representation of like where your skill was? Like, did you really believe coming into this tournament, like I could make it to the semi-finals or so far? Like, what was your own like analysis of it, and like what do you think of this fact that people might say like you have the element of surprise?
The element of surprise, I think it's not the fact here, because there are already 2 group stages and playoffs, so yeah, after the first group stage people could say, okay, he's good, he won against Bly 4-0, but it's nothing else. But then I won MMA, and then people should already see that maybe he's not that bad, and I think there's no surprise factor anymore. And I think also for MMA, after he lost the first game, I think he played his best in the second game, so I don't think he would like to lose. And yeah, what was the other question?
Just like going forward to the next tournament.
Oh, okay.
Will you be like more studied now? Will people have like your style more figured out?
The other question was also if I know that I will do that good in this tournament.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you had these expectations for yourself.
Actually not, but I'm a player who thinks step by step. So from group stage to group stage, and then to playoffs. I don't like to go to tournaments and say, oh, I'm gonna be top 4 or something. I think this is, I don't know, a little bit crazy to say that. Maybe for really good players who already achieved a lot, it might be a good solution to say so for your own ego. But yeah, I didn't think that, and in the near future, I hope I can hold my performance, and I hope the motivation won't go away now, because often people say when they achieved something, I'm gonna chill now because I'm really good now. I think this is the main problem. If I can solve this, the motivation, I think I can stay on that level and keep it on, or maybe get better even.
I mean, when you're describing your answer there, it sounds like you're like quite level-headed, like you didn't think too far ahead. But people actually, your reputation is like, people think that you were kind of more outspoken, like you brag that you will be really good. Rotterdam was kind of joking about it. Do you feel as though like there's any level of satisfaction that you kind of like lived up to your words or anything like that?
Actually, I always, I say this, that I'm gonna like, rape all or win everything. But I only say this for fun. So the German people also know me from Warcraft, and in Warcraft I was like this actually, and I always said, I'm gonna win this and this, because I was for some time the best player in Germany and also really good in Europe. So I keep on trash talking in the community, so they have some fun, and also the haters gonna hate, so it's also fun for me.
I mean, another thing with you coming relatively out of nowhere is people are obviously, especially people who didn't watch the games, are going to say, oh, another patch Zerg, it's done so well. So what I want you to do is describe for me, like, what were the qualities of your game that got you to third here? Like, was it like your skills? Did you have like some clever builds in mind? Did you just have like a good mindset? What do you think it was that got you all the way to third in this tournament?
The mindset, it's not the mindset, I think, because I was really nervous every game, I think.
Even against like Stephano, you against Symbol?
Yeah, also really nervous because people already were expecting after 2-0 against MMA, wow, he's really good, he can make it. So I got really nervous. But yeah, I think also Zerg is a little bit stronger than the other races. But for example, Zerg is, I think, in my opinion, harder to play than Protoss. I think I'm gonna get flamed now, but
why do you say that?
I don't know. People are flaming always.
No, why do you think that Zerg is hard to play with Protoss?
Oh, because for example, you have to inject the hatchery and also spread the creep, and you always have to defend against many cheesy tactics. Like no other race, I think, gets so much cheese than Zerg. So you always have to be aware of everything. And I think Protoss, I played for some time when StarCraft came out, Protoss, for some months. I was Protoss. So I think it's easier. They have not to spread some creep, which is really important for Zerg. And also the Chrono Boost, they can use it whenever they want it, so they can save it up and use it after a fight and not while a fight. So I think it's easier. But I think other people have different opinions. So I think I'm third place because, at least I won ZVZ. So I think in ZVZ, if Zerg is Imba, then Imba versus Imba. So it doesn't matter. So I think it was a skill, and I don't really had really close games also, except I got raped by Symbol. But the other games were actually pretty solid. I won, but I don't know.
Since people always say about players who use Infestor a lot and Blue Lord armies, they're the patch Zergs or whatever, how much of your game and style with Zerg actually revolves around using these units? Do you have a lot of variety? Do you have like a style you mainly stick with?
I think I played only once Brute Lords in this tournament, I think, against Bratok. And the rest of games it was just the standard, but also Infestors, but not too many. I think I don't know if they're gonna upload the replays, but for example against MMA, I didn't make too many infestors because I think if there are too many, it's even too bad.
Okay.
I think like for 5 infestors or so against.
Why do you say that? Because some people complain about infestor that they think you can't build too many, you know?
Yeah. But people think they can only press the infestor key and throw around a ton of eggs, but it doesn't work like that. You also have a nice control and army. And since the new patch, you can funnel that. The funnel range got reduced, so it's really hard to funnel. And actually, I stopped to funnel even. Most of the times, I only throw the eggs. So because it's really hard, the infestor gets in the front and gets automatically killed. Yeah, but I think I didn't abuse too much in this tournament. So I hope it was a skill.
Okay. So what I want to ask now was, aside from people just whining about Zerg, at this tournament, only one Protoss player made it into the round of 8, even though there was actually more Protoss overall. There was 14 Protoss, I think it was 9 Zerg. Do we make anything of that? Is that significant in any way?
I don't think so, because I think that the Zerg players, I mean, for example, Snoot. I think Snoot would be also like one of the best Europeans, if not the best European, if he would play Terran.
Okay. Why do you say that?
I think his macro is like really amazing, and his decision making is really good. And also before I played Stephano in the first best of 3, I spoke to him and he also gave me some tips. So he's also a really smart guy and has nice unit control, so I think it doesn't matter. And of course, I think also the Protoss players aren't that good as the Zerg players, not because of the race, just because of the skill, so it doesn't say anything, I think.
You mentioned before, like, Snoop might be the best European Zerg. Stefano's been in a bit of a slump recently. Nerdshio hasn't done well the last couple of events. Vortex had a Thor Open. I think otherwise he just did okay. So do you really think like he's above these guys at the moment, just in terms of like current level, not like achievements in his career?
You mean Snoot?
Yeah.
I think Snoot hadn't too much achievements now, but he has really good results lately. I think like top 8 or so at DreamHack and other tournaments, I don't remember. He also was at IPL and played really good against the Koreans. So yeah, I'm really impressed. I also would have liked to play against him in this tournament, but unfortunately I had to play against Simple. As I mentioned, I don't like his playstyle to play against. But yeah, I think also Snoot against me would be really close, like Snoot against Stephano. So yeah, it's really hard to say, but I think Snoot is the best at the moment.
So since you've had this result here, now people are going to wonder, like, well, when are we going to see XlorD next? Like, will we see you in the next like 3 months? Will you be at all the big tournaments you can go to? Like, what's your plan from now?
Yeah, sure. I will go to several events next year, I think. Monchi and me, for sure. Now I'm really, I think, motivated. I hope I don't lose the motivation. But yeah, I really would like to visit now some bigger tournaments and play in the main tournament, not some Biok or something. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And also, I think I'm gonna also now stream more so people can watch me. So go to twitch.tv XlorD and yeah, watch me playing.
Okay, the last question I had actually was just to put a cap on this event. Obviously, I think we should mention the Stephano incident that was in the second group stage, because it seemed like part of the drama came from the fact that people reacted like both, like the players themselves, you and Stephano, reacted like instantly in such an emotional way, and so then all the drama was like spiraling out of that. There wasn't any time for anyone to think about it, and so people got really mad at you because you're like the underdog, and you were like kind of mad that Stephano or whoever else, they were like talking about doing a best of 5 or whatever. Then Stephano got really mad and he was saying, "Oh, just take the game," or whatever. So it's like it was like a bad situation for everyone. Now that you've had like a lot of time past that and you can look back on it, like how would you describe what happened in the situation? And like, do you think everything worked out the way it should have done?
No, it worked out pretty bad, I think. I think it's the first time I had such a situation, and I think it's also really hard to handle. Yeah, I was talking to the admin, and he said, yeah, he also wasn't that sure, but also said that for 90%, I don't remember the number, but that I would have won. Of course, people would like 1 out of 10 games or something I would lose or something. People think, but I also wrote a blog on Team Liquid and I described it. I think actually pretty good because in the last game where the disconnect happened, I mean I played in that best of 3 pretty solid in both games. So in the first fight, in the second game, Stephano attacked from both sides with Roach Hydra and I had Roach Infestor. So I funneled one side and attacked the bottom side. And yeah, I would do that same thing in that situation. But yeah, people thought or are still thinking that I would just run into it and get concaved and will die. And yeah, I think I also overreacted while the camera was on because I personally thought that Stephano's trolling, like he just shouted, "Okay, congrats, you won, I give you the death win." So I was a little bit upset because he said it in front of everyone, like, okay, yeah, just, you know the situation, so it's really crazy. And I think if next time this will happen, I would react different.
Was an element of why you reacted the fact that like you probably felt like I'm going to win this series now, and then if the option could have been like a regame, then it would have like maybe even like destroyed your mentality. Now it's like I have to win it all over again, or if you then lost the series, it'd be like, oh fuck, I should have had that one. Was this an element of it?
Yeah, also the people who are flaming now, they don't think of the mindset the players have. They think, oh, they're professional gamers, so they have to have the best mindset, but it's not. So I think it would be really close if we made a best of 5, or it would be regame, or I think I would even have lost because, yeah, as I said, I was also really nervous, like every game, and yeah, for Stephano it would be even better. He said, "Oh, I lost the last game, but anyway, if I would lose this game, I don't care," and he would have played better, I think, after that.
So I mean, you kind of give some final messages there, saying you're going to stream and stuff. But do you want to thank your team or say hello to anyone?
Thanks to the fans for the great support, and thanks to XMG for picking me up and making this possible, being a pro gamer. And I hope we see us next year somewhere at a big event or something. And yeah, like me on Facebook, it's the same like Twitch I mentioned, and also Twitter the same. So thank you guys, see you.
Danke.
Danke.